This is War for the Spirit. Okay, I'm making this video about zealousness and how zealous spirits oftentimes take over those who seeks the approval of God and want to be on God's side. So this spirit will come to you once you decide that you want to perform in such a way that pleases God. What will happen is it's a crafty spirit. It'll get within your actions and behaviors because you're so enthusiastic to be, within the realm of doing things of serving God. You overdo things. You'll overdo things to the degree that they cause destruction. It's like wiping down a wall to the point where you put you wipe a hole in the wall because you're trying to clean it. And your interactions, that'll be a consistent pattern with all the little things that you do. You'll try to help somebody to the degree that you hurting them. You'll be trying to correct somebody to the degree that you hurting them. In every activity, the spirit, and you won't even recognize that you're pouring more into the cup, because God tempers us to try to perform perfection. And what happens is you'll try to be more on the right side than any side. You don't want to gauge yourself to stop. So let's say you may have a decision to give something to God. You may say, I'm going to give my diet to God. So I'm going to figure out everything that I should eat based on the Torah. And you'll find out the foods that are good or bad, or which God suggests you to stay away from. And within your zealousness, you might decide you can't eat nothing until you figure out, what I'm saying, what it is that, and that'll be a journey that you haven't. Once you embark on some of these journeys, you're going to find out they're harder to perform than they may seem like initially. And in the midst of that, you'll correct to death anybody who comes around you with food. You'll start denouncing any kind of interactions with people, not giving them the opportunity to get to the point where they choosing that fight for themselves, but you'll weigh them down and won't recognize you weighing them down, because in your mind, you being good to God, but the devil is also using that to discourage other people. So at the same time that you perform, because your pride or how you feeling like, you indulging in God, but truthfully, you still a filthy rag. You still lesser than and behind time. You know better than your brother to God. You still at your best performance. And although it is good to perform at your very best in all endeavors when it is that you're dealing with God, but the fact that you're going to let that turn into you being a overly critical person of somebody, as if you stand out to God better than somebody who knee deep in filth because you filthy as well. And I've seen a lot that's good people, good God-fearing people that really want to put their best effort into performing at their best with God. I've seen that zealous spirit come amongst them, and even sometimes will take them over to the point where they don't do nothing but go on boards and comment and message about different forms of correction. They just want to find holes within a person so that they could correct them to death through to the zealous nature of how it is that they see the world. They see the world through eyes of zealousness. So it's like, when you planning on doing too much, it's never enough. No matter what somebody do, it's not enough, because you zealous. You trying to overdo something all the time, and they most likely is ruining other things that they got going on in their life based on them trying to overdo something. And it won't initially. It might start on your diligence about God, because it really takes something that you got a dedication to for you to start to be zealous, because that's the only way you would notice it, is because you're very enthusiastic about something, and then when you overdo it, you don't even recognize it as being something that's overdone. But eventually it'll go to your relationships, to the stuff that you do in your life. And if you take a deeper look at the person, you'll see like they're overdoing something everywhere you go. They might be overdoing something, you know what I'm saying, in the slightest way, but that's that spirit acting itself out. And the more control they've given themselves over to that spirit, the more it's going to represent itself. You know what I'm saying? And some of these things might be good initially, like, you know, you overdoing it. Because I would be I'd be going to work 2 hours early, and that don't seem bad, right? But that was me. That was the way the spirit was expressing itself within me. Because in my desire to please God, I wanted to be zealous. I wanted to do as much as possible. But it's hard to do that and not tip the balance of overdoing it. You know, and that's just a small example. But like I said, that spirit will act itself out in so many different ways. And depending on the people that you interact with, that thing can be a detriment to them. Especially if they not as zealous in they walk. And you'll start to believe that you have a righteousness about you that you don't carry. You know, you'll start looking at yourself or your personal behaviors as to being something that makes you holy. And it's hard to remind yourself that, you know, before God, you just a filthy rag. So be cautious of that zealous spirit. Recognize it in others so that you can help them identify it, so that they can have self-control and fight against it personally. You identify it within yourself so that you can fight against it. Because as a lover of God, a lot of times, you know, there's different spirits for different positions that you are in life mentally. And that's one of those spirits that seem to go for those who try to stand in holiness. So glory to God. You guys be good to God, and you let God be good to you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. You guys be good to God, and you let God be good to you.